Why don't I stretch out?
And just started grinding mud all on the couch.
Your couch. Buy another one, you rich motherfucker. Your couch. Your couch.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. Unless you are a homeless person in San Francisco living in a tent, right? Or in a piss-filled puddle at a bus stop, you probably live inside of a home, and that home has a door and a lock on it and windows that close. And that's important because it's important to make sure that your house is secure. Your precious items live inside your house. If you're a guy like me and you have got kids, maybe you do. That's important. Or if you're a young person starting off and you don't have any kids, you still got a wallet, you still got a phone, you still got your girlfriend, you still got your TV and your Xbox, and you want to make sure that those things are safe. And so you got to be able to close the door and lock it. This is normal. This is simple. This happens in your apartment or your house or even your parents' house, wherever you happen to live. But for some reason, we can't understand that concept on our own border. And you can see here footage from today that is just shocking the world. This from a Fox News reporter. Our cameras were rolling in Lukeville, Arizona, as a group of illegal criminal migrants rushed through the breach in the border wall. Border Patrol and federal contractors were trying to fix it. The human smuggler then shrugs at our cameras and salutes. Look at these breaches in our border. In case you're wondering if there is an invasion going on, here's your answer. Look at this. Here's your invasion in high def. As these criminals, by the way, this is important. These are criminals based on the way the letter of the law is written. Laws that were written by Joe Biden, signed by Joe Biden, that Joe Biden bragged about. It is illegal to do this in America. Look at that smuggler. Look at that ass hat. Oh my God. And look at how they've ripped apart the wall and they've torn it away. By the way, the wall is effectively on American, so the wall is on American, the wall is not on Mexican property and soil. The wall is on American soil. So all these people are operating on American soil. It's America well before the wall. So that human smuggler is sitting there and he's pursuant to our laws and could be arrested by these guys who are, look at them, they're strapped. But nothing happens. And people are getting furious about this. And we've been covering quite a bit about Chicago. I have a soft spot for Chicago. I grew up in the Midwest. I was in Chicago often. I grew up in Iowa. And we were in Chicago all the time for various sporting events or for family vacations and so forth. And we would go to Chicago, and it's a beautiful city and a cherished city, and it is being absolutely systematically destroyed by criminal migrants. I mean, it's remarkable. We were just back there for an event, and I could not believe my eyes. Seeing migrants sleeping on the streets, seeing Millennium Park being turned into effectively like an open air, like Guatemalan, marketplace. So, I mean, it was incredible. And the people of Chicago are finally furious about this. Black residents sue Chicago mayor over migrant tent city. State halts construction over toxic chemicals in soil. Black residents of Chicago's Brighton Park are suing Chicago over Brandon Johnson's construction of a massive tent city for illegal border crossers, but not before state authorities shut the construction down over the toxic landfill. Okay, so they're going to shove these people onto a toxic landfill. Got it. This is real humanity, okay? Brighton Park residents are suing the city of Chicago over the temporary restraining order over on 38th in California migrant tent city. At the hearing, it was revealed that the city never issued construction permits for the tent city. So they're just breaking the laws. And the guy named Brandon Johnson, the socialist in charge of Chicago, they're doing it for a reason. And it's really obvious. And it's really clear what reason they're doing it for. Joe Biden, back in the day, straight up talked about this reason. It is to erode the electoral power of those people who would threaten the Democrats in the Electoral College. This is quite clear and has been proven time and time again in the California model. You bring people into California. This is how they turned California from a hard red state that voted for Reagan to a blue state. You bring in people illegally. You give them government handouts and goodies for fealty to the Democrat Party that is giving them those goodies. And then you're able to flip a state from red to blue. And now this is a system they're going through the entire country and using this system. And in case you're wondering who's bragging about it, well, it's Joe Biden. Vivek Ramaswamy had this clip that has gone thermonuclear now and has done nearly 1 million views of Joe Biden straight up bragging about how he's going to with Mayorkas, the little golem right next to him, staring on in approval, bragging about how he's going to change the demographic makeup of the country. This is called a right-wing myth known as the Great Replacement Theory. It turns out that it's not a conspiracy theory. It's basic immigration policy for Democrats, and it's so chilling that the guy who's implementing all of this is sitting right next to Joe Biden. Look at these two. This is a clip from nearly a decade ago. Watch.
But African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, and the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I think we can be most proud of. So there's a second thing in that black box, an unrelenting stream of immigration, nonstop. Folks like me who are Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America from then and on will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength.
So people like this who are decimating their cities, this guy is a communist, people like this who are decimating their cities and destroying these great American cities that they certainly didn't build, but they certainly will end and destroy. Brandon Johnson. These guys are, of course, seeing flight out of their cities. They love the criminal migrants because that means that they will get, the more people you have, the more goodies you get from the federal government. You need population in order to offset the checks that the government writes to you. Also, of course, Chicago must have a big population because that's how Joe Biden gets elected. Without Cook County in Chicago, Joe Biden wouldn't have won Illinois, wouldn't have carried Illinois' 18 electoral votes. Well, that would have been really devastating. That's really devastating for Democrats. They can't lose Illinois. They have to have Chicago, a turnout machine for them. And so guys like Brandon Johnson got to do their job. You got to keep people in Chicago. So that's why Brandon Johnson's building his tent city. The people of Chicago are pissed at it. We've recently covered that. Check it out. Joe Biden said, I won't build one more foot of that racist wall. Joe Biden said immigrants and migrants can all flood into America. And then Republican governors said, well, we will send them right to Chicago. And that's exactly what's happening. And now Chicago has a panic on their hands. Not only are all of the people that built Chicago and made Chicago wealthy fleeing for states like Florida, but now they are left with hundreds of thousands of criminal migrants who broke our laws, went into this country, and now in a sanctuary city that is Chicago, Chicago is legally required to give housing to these people. Chicago residents rail against planned migrant shelter, but you made Chicago a sanctuary city, and you voted for Joe Biden. Look at this. Brighton Park migrant tent site construction blocked by protesters. Show me the permit. I'm ready to go to jail. Protesters said that more than 10 dump trucks were lined up to enter the site and lay a gravel base, which city officials said is required of any site for the migrant camp, and now they have blocked it. They're blocking. Protect our kids. No shelter in Chicago. We want our district back. Here from CBS. Construction of Chicago's migrant tent camp in Brighton Park not started yet, mayor's office said. Uh-oh. Despite the local alderman's claim that the construction of the tent camp for the migrants would begin on Monday, the mayor's office said it would start at a later date. Oh, no. Let me be clear. I'm opposed to the construction of the site. So now it looks like the mayor is lying in Chicago. And people are pissed. The residents of Chicago, specifically the black population of Chicago, which is over-indexed and overrepresented, obviously, based on national averages. So it's like Chicago has a very large black population. Those people are saying, hold up, you're not giving us free food, free shelter, free anything. Like, we're barely surviving. Yet migrants get free shelter, free food, they get welcomed into our no, not going to happen. And now it's all boiling over because Chicago is the site of the Democratic National Convention. Listen to this community organizer inside of Chicago. And let me tell you what, this guy's saying, if you think you're going to have a peaceful Democrat convention while our people are starving, stay tuned. This is what the man said at City Hall last week.
You're going to have this same office for us.
That's right.
You don't hear any other community talking this plural talk.
That's right.
They strictly speak for themselves.
You got to.
The Chinese in Chinatown speak for Chinese, right?
That's right.
The Greeks in Greektown speak for Greeks. The Hispanics in Little Village speak for Hispanics.
That's right.
Rightfully so. And black people speak for black people.
Oh, yes, sir.
Black Americans.
Good.
We're not African American. We're not people of color. We're not black and brown, minority,
That's right.
BIPOC, none of that.
None of that.
People, no, none of that. This is about our people demanding the resources, just as you're giving these people, these newcomers who are walking into this
That's
country.
right. You were right. Thank
And
you.
sister's correct. How do you take a new group of people that have paid no taxes, can't vote, and you put them in front of the voters?
I'm not going to pay them no damn taxes.
And so we say this to you, Mayor, Governor, President. If you think that they're that powerful that you have to acquiesce and answer to them over us, then you tell them to vote for you in these next elections.
That's right.
You tell them to support your Democratic National Convention. Because we're going to show you how we feel about the Democratic National
Turn
Convention.
it out.
Thank you.
If you think you're going to have a peaceful Democratic National Convention in the city of Chicago while our people are starving,
That's right.
stay tuned.